Now, for more details about the situation in China, Richard Kimber is joining us live from Hong Kong. Richard, thanks so much for joining us. Now, I'd like to begin our discussion with a focus on China. New clusters of the novel coronavirus have emerged across 3 regions, and there are now concerns that this is a fresh wave of the outbreak. So what is the Xi Jinping government doing to get the situation under control?
Well, the simple answer to that is it's engaging in another round of mass testing on a scale that's actually beyond that which we'd likely see in most other Western countries. The port city of Dalian, for example, that you mentioned earlier, has 6 million inhabitants, but already a huge mass testing process going on there. And the city officials saying with confidence, as they often have when there have been new waves of the virus in China, that they think they can get this under control. They say that early detection of these cases means that they should be able to get all economic activity in that port city back on track relatively soon. There is concern, though, because the 2 clusters that have now emerged in China are on opposite sides of the country, more than 3,500 kilometres apart, that being in Liaoning province in the northeast and in Xinjiang in the northwest. So really complete opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of China's geography where new cases are popping up.
Right. Now, do we know any travel restrictions that may be imposed or any fresh curbs that will be reimposed within China to avoid these clusters from becoming bigger?
There's no announcements yet on that front, but there are concerns that, for example, as you mentioned before, in the neighbouring Jilin province, which is the province next to Liaoning in the northeast of the country, there have been a couple of cases popping up there. So the suggestion already that there is some crossover from what's happening in Liaoning province already into its neighbouring province. And this, of course, way back at the beginning of this pandemic was exactly the cause of concern in China when things started to spread out of the Hubei province, where Wuhan is originated, into the neighbouring provinces, causing shutdowns across the rest of the country. So although there's no new restrictions in China and the officials are being relatively confident, it's possible that there may have to be some if there are increasing evidence of new cases outside of these 2 provinces where things are starting to emerge again.
Right. Let's now shift focus to Hong Kong. Tell us about the status of the outbreak there. We are hearing that masks have been made compulsory and dine-in services across restaurants are being banned.
That's right. Both those announcements are due to be explained in further detail by the government just in a couple of hours. They've both been announced this morning here in Hong Kong, and that comes after 5 straight days of more than 100 cases every day, and increased concern that most of those cases are local transmissions. They're no longer imported as they had been in previous months, and also that it's difficult to assess the exact source of many of these cases in the way that the government had been in previous months. So every week there's been a new level of implementation of restrictions, and that next level today is that all dine-in services in restaurants going to be banned and mask wearing compulsory, not just in indoor public spaces but also in any outdoor space. That includes people exercising, going for walks and so on, even if they're not actually intending to gather in large crowds. So the government trying to put a stop to what seems to be a consistent exponential growth of this new wave here, although of course on a scale that's still relatively small compared to many other places in the world.
All right, Richard, thank you so much for all your inputs and thank you for joining us on this story. Let's now move on to the next big story that we have been tracking. The founder of Alibaba Group